So this interview is with Shuff, a content creator who plays Darkest Dungeon 1 and 2, among other titles. Our interview is loosely connected to their interview series Mazes and Labyrinths, which interviews speedrunners and Twitch streamers about disempowerment in Metroidvania and survival horror games, but also dungeon crawlers and other subgenres. So Mazes and Labyrinths, the series follows a pretty set of research goals that specifically examine how Mazes and Labyrinths, along with their historically heavy content, disempower players. And then there's the link that I provided to y'all. This is a long one, so you got content for like an hour probably. You have a Hellion with 2 damage trinkets and Hellion. Amogus. The Mazes link. Level 6 Leper getting 2-shot by a collected Dismiss in 1 turn. Damn. Not playing around? Okay. Alright, is this too quiet? No, it's fine. Beesmas. Let's see. My name is Nick Vanderward. I am a Gothic lidologist, if that's how you say it, who writes about horror and video games academically. My specialty is Metroidvania, but I also research FPS and survival horror. As it just so happens, I'm a huge fan of Darkest Dungeon and played DD1 a ton in grad school. Streams got me into DD2 fairly recently. That was the little opening intro thing. Is that a sub? What's up? Who is it? What's up, Seg? Thanks for 7 months.
Disempowerment? Flip the script and show the game who's boss by throwing it in the trash. Kappa.
Thanks for 7 months, dude. Just don't play it, forehead. Okay. So, introduce myself here. What's up? I'm Shuffle FM on the internet. My first name is Adam. That's all you're getting out of me. I make content creation, or this is my job. I've been doing it for like full-time for a year. And I've been doing this for about 9 years, 10 years this year. It'll be 10 years. But I've only taken it seriously for 2. Like, it was a hobby until I graduated college, and we were in the middle of COVID, so I just didn't want to, you know, like, go places, and I didn't want to work a face-to-face job, so I just really put some time into this, and it actually worked. Call him Adam publicly now? Please don't. 10 years, it's amazing. I mean, it was mostly a hobby. I just made, like, Let's Plays and stuff. It was just for fun for a long time. Introduce you to, this is Twitch chat. They like to meme and post Keck W and copy pastas, so that's them. But yeah. I guess that's it. I play Darkest Dungeon the most. I like to play other games, but I really enjoy the fantasy genre and the Gothic horror, and Darkest Dungeon got me more into the Lovecraft narrative, the mythos and stuff than I was before, and I greatly appreciate that because I've always kind of known about it, but I've never really delved into it, and this game kind of like opened the door, so to speak. So, human interest question. Your photo shows you holding an arcade fighting pad. Did I used to play fighting games? Yes. When I was growing up in high school, I made most of my first group of long-term friends. We played Marvel vs. Capcom 2. We played that a lot. I'm talking like thousands of hours. We played it at the arcade because we could actually go there after school. And then we played it on like Dreamcast and PS2. And we took it very seriously. Like we watched tournaments, we went to tournaments, we played some of the best people in the area. My friends eventually, my friends took it further. Like, I dropped out, but my friends got, like, really good. And, one of my friends plays Justin Wallinger. He tries to, like, stream snipe him sometimes. And he's done it a few times, so he's played him and some other, Bay Area people. So. But I love fighting games. I just don't put as much time into them anymore. Partly because I'm just getting older and I feel like I'm slower. But also I like Marvel games. Marvel 3 was good. It was like 1 or 2 patches away from being, I think, perfect. But there's stuff like Mora Doom was just too powerful. And then Zero. Who wants to play against Zero? Honestly. And then I liked Marvel Infinite, but that game just died off, which was kind of sad. Trying too hard not to look at chat. I'm looking at chat. I'm just seeing if there's anything interesting. I just see pasta. I'm an old man. I am an old man. But fighting games are near and dear to my heart. I still watch tournaments when they're on. I watch Evo every year. I have some of the Evo emotes. I don't think I subbed for a couple of years. Let's see. Hey. See, I had Evo emotes. Read the pasta. Pasta has no name. I've read this one. I read this. But yeah. I love fighting games. A lot of my friends love fighting games. Smash is a fighting game. Don't let anyone tell you different. But yeah. Can you tell us a little... Oh wait, yeah. So the fight pads and stuff. I still have a couple. I have a razor stick next to me. Whatever their tournament series was. So it's under some stuff. So I'm not going to dig it out. But my second favorite fighting game franchise after Marvel was BlazBlue. And I think they kind of discontinued that. And Cross Tag Battle kind of looked like not fun. So I didn't jump into that, but I was interested in Guilty Gear. Just didn't do it. Read again? I'm not reading it again. I'm actually Smash as a platformer. It's a platform brawler. No, it's got all the fighting game fundamentals. DBFZ? Dude, the reason I didn't get into DBFZ was what is it? I should have. It seems like a game I'd enjoy, but like this person that I used to be friends with, they got into it and they were playing it for like, you know, a few days. They were like putting some time into it. And I went over to their house and like within 3 matches or something like that, I was beating them like kind of consistently. And I was like, I don't know what the hell's happening in this game. And like, I shouldn't be able to win on fundamentals this early, you know? I was like, this game is silly. I just stopped. It's fun to watch though. Looks very complicated at high level. Yeah. So can you tell us a little about yourself as a streamer? What made you start and who were your inspirations? So, as a streamer, I like to stream more than make YouTube videos right now just because editing is actual effort. But, I'm down to 3 days a week. I want to stream more. I'd like to stream 5 days a week, but it's just too much with YouTube, so I have to go down to 3. And, I'm supposed to be writing these answers down. I'm gonna, the person, Nick, is going to watch, or they're watching right now. I can't remember. But I am gonna write the answers too, just for them. But yeah, so in terms of streaming, I stream like 12 hours a week if I can. Usually try and do more. And I try and focus on indie games or other games that I just enjoy, because I like indie strategy games like Darkest Dungeon. And some of the other ones coming out and stuff like Last Spell looks good. I want to play Gloomhaven on stream, you know, so there's a lot of cool games out there. And my inspirations, my streaming inspirations are some people you probably know, like Moon is a big influence. I really like Moon. I've been subbing to Moon for longer than I've been streaming, so I just enjoy his streams. He's the only streamer I think I pay to sub to right now, so it's, you know, exclusive. But the person that got me started in content creation was Cholera Ninja, and I don't know how many people know who that is, so give me 1 sec. Give me 1 sec here. I don't know if he wants this kind of heat, so don't go blow him up or something like that. Don't be an asshole. But, so Cholera is one of my favorite people. And this is someone I used to watch a lot, but I haven't been able to lately. But, yeah, so they made some, like, League of Legends videos that were popular back in the day. And this is what got me started. So I used to watch his League videos when I was into League, and then I stopped caring about League, and I started watching his Let's Plays, and that's how I got into this. So the League stuff was amazing. I'm glad people know him still. But that is the person that got me into it. Like, I watched him, and I was like, that looks fun, so I just started doing it. And he's pretty cool. He's a very cool dude. Let's see. That's my main inspiration. How long have I been playing Darkest Dungeon? What got me into it? I've been playing it since February 2016, so almost 6 years now. I got into it because I was doing Let's Plays at the time as a hobby, and I had like 500 subscribers or something like that. And one of my subs, actually 2 of them, two of my frequent viewers at the time were like, why don't you play Darkest Dungeon? That game looks cool. So I played Darkest Dungeon, and I enjoyed it. I did a blind Let's Play, and I did the Crimson Court when it came out. And then I kind of took a break from it for like 2 years. And then I just randomly was playing Blood Moon, and then I finished Blood Moon. I thought like, yeah, I know enough about this game, which wasn't true. And so after that, I made that tier list. I made a tier list for all the heroes that got like, between them, almost 1 million views between the 3 of them. And those videos sucked, but it got me into making content for Darkest Dungeon. And so I've been focusing on that since then. So what happened was I made the tier list. The tier list got popular. One of the things that stuck out was I put Grave Robber in A tier as like the 3rd best hero or something like that. And people were like, Grave Robber sucks. And I was like, okay, you don't know how to play Grave Robber. So I made a guide on how to play Grave Robber. And after that, I was like, I like making guides for this game. So I kept doing it. Of course, to be a tier list. Tier lists are a good entry point for any up-and-coming YouTuber. There's a pro tip for you. And I can tell you this because we replicated it with my friend's channel. My friend wanted to get into YouTube, and I told him to make a tier list, and one of his first videos was a tier list, and it took off. So, even from scratch, he got over 1,000 subs pretty quickly. There you go. Now Grave Robber's the best character in DD2? I wish. Yeah. You're sucker for tier lists? They're fun. Thought Iceberg videos were. I mean, that's probably the new meta, honestly, but tier lists are solid. It'll get you views, it'll get you traffic, it'll get you comments, it'll get everything. You're back making a tier list, do it. Yeah. So I've been playing Darkest Dungeon since then. I have about 1,500 hours in DD1. It might be like 1,600 at this point, and a few hundred in DD2. I don't have as much as other people, but yeah. Do I like scary movies? If so, do I have favorites? I like older scary movies that aren't like as CGI heavy. I like more psychological type of stuff, like the Hannibal series with Anthony Hopkins. I enjoy those kinds of like thriller movies, like mystery, scary kind of things. Or I like the older school scary movies, like The Thing. I think is one of the best scary movies I've ever seen, especially because they couldn't CGI that creature. They had to make it, and it's like absolutely frightening. Tier lists are like instant views. They are. Yeah, so I actually don't like scary movies because I don't like being scared, but it's mostly because a lot of scary movies, they're just cheap in how they scare you because they're jump scares. Thing is amazing. Thing's the best movie ever made. I almost wouldn't fight you on that. It is fantastic. But yeah, so like a lot of scary movies now are just jump scares, and it's like they just get you with that, and it's like, I'm not scared. Like, you made it super quiet and then flash something on screen and played a loud sound. I'm gonna get startled. I'm not afraid of what's happening because you're genuinely making like an atmosphere of terror. You're scaring me with something stupid. Just some design to make you flinch. That's not scary. Thing from the Stars is indeed a horror. Thing's a good boss? No. Best movie ever made is obviously Boss Baby. Get Out. Antiquarian was so good they had to make her an enemy so you don't get to use her, I guess. Hate jump scares too, not only because they're cheap, but you also get easily scared. Yeah, I feel it. Copied the wrong message. Original or the the black and white, The Thing? Whatever the 1981 was with Kurt Russell. That thing is amazing. No pun intended. Yeah, I want to watch more scary movies. It's just I have to find like the right ones, Was I an HP Lovecraft fan before I played the game? No, I was not. Did Darkest Dungeon make me one? Yes, it did. Yes, it did. At this point, my friends got me the Keeper rulebook for Call of Cthulhu for the tabletop game, and I want to run one at some point. Just haven't, and I've liked Cthulhu games now. Like, I want to play a good Cthulhu game. There aren't many. Like, there was Call of Cthulhu in like 2018. That game kind of sucked. And then Sinking City's fun, but I can see why not everyone likes it. Which I'm actually gonna make a video talking about Cthulhu games soon because of all this. What does the FM in your username stand for? I hate answering this question. So years ago, my online handle was Full Metal, and that's because I like Full Metal Alchemist, and I just wanted to scrap that entirely. It means nothing now, essentially, but I changed the online handle to Shuffle, but like Shuffle's taken everywhere, so I just had to throw something in the end of it, so I put FM at the end. How many cats do I have? Do they ever get scared by the monsters in the game? I have 2 cats. They're Echo and Loki. They do not get scared by the monsters in the game. Oops. And means for money? Yes. You love me answering this question? I hate it so much. But my cats don't get scared by it. They're pretty chill. Loki is weird. He's scared of a lot of things, but then he's not scared of things he should be scared of. And then Echo gets scared of things you don't think he'd be afraid of. But Echo usually doesn't get afraid of things, so. Should have been Mr. Shuffle. You're right, Mr. Pepper. Echo's scarier than Shambler. Echo's a dick. How we turn on the radio? But I like AM or FM. I thought about, like, if I made a secondary channel, I'd call it like Shuffle PM or Shuffle AM. Just to make it a meme. But no, my cats they don't get scared by this stuff. They can't really see my monitor usually, so they don't really care. Like the most I've had is like sometimes they try and paw at the screen, like if it's on my TV or something. This interview will be divided into 2 parts, Gothic themes and game design. So Gothic themes. Should have been level 100 Shuffle. I'm not level 100 though. What's up, Siggy? Be shuffling horror. Doing something with Rat. You're right, Rat. Let's see. Some of the questions in the section are academic in origin and will require a bit of explaining ahead of time. Not all of them will require this much explanation, however. As something to consume, Gothic media supplies the audience with horrifying monsters and terrifying situations to vicariously survive. However, it generally relies on irrational or fearful modes of thinking that teach the audience critical thinking tools. That's interesting. For example, Julia Kristova's process of objection is a societal process where the cultural status quo, what is normal or human, is created by the act of throwing off anything perceived to be not normal and inhuman. That kind of, okay, I think I get that. Isn't that kind of like the Lovecraft angle where just like things are incomprehensible? I'm sorry if I'm a dumbass, I don't understand these things, but that's kind of what it's sounding like to me. Like in a way. Status quo effectively serves as the de facto sense of self, whereas the abject or other non-objects. Objection is effectively a form of deliberate alienation and demonization dictated by those in power who benefit from the subjects or the non-subjects' objection, effectively functioning as a form of xenophobic persecution. I never thought of it as xenophobic, but I could see why. I can definitely see why. Examples of objection include zombies, Frankenstein's creature, witches, and satanic panic. Is there more to satanic panic? Because this makes me think of like Dungeons and Dragons primarily, but it might not be. Objection in Darkest Dungeon occurs most prominently with the Ancestor. Upon first meeting him, we're given the impression that he is seemingly human, but nevertheless different from the player. In a cruel twist of fate, he is revealed to not only be a doomed monster, but quite literally the player looking at themselves, whose actions have repeated over and over as part of an elaborate cabin in the woods style ruse. This is horrifying because the player has been judging the Ancestor as having been negatively different, effectively judging themselves in the process. That is pretty cool. This is kind of amplified because because Darkest Dungeon 1 is shown as a time loop where like the current player becomes the Ancestor and writes to an heir who comes back and does it again. And so it's interesting from a narrative standpoint. I personally don't like time loop plots, but it is interesting that you kind of like replace what you're seeking to destroy almost. Satanic panic will always be associated with Pokemon. Is that a thing? Spoilers? Yikes. What is this? This is an interview for someone's, I think they're doing a dissertation or a thesis or something like that. And they wanted to interview streamers like me. Is it really a time loop though? I mean, I think it is. Parallel to the player, but he is definitely not literally the player. We don't know if the player replaces him though. And just probably creates different, you know, monstrosities. This being said, abjection is not simply a method to fool the audience. It's a lesson. Perceiving others as monstrous is not only prescribed, but seldom accurate. Society has coded us to see others as monsters since birth, often through exposure to problematic horror media. Has playing Darkest Dungeon changed the way that you view the world in this sense? Are you more careful when judging monsters that you may have been prior to playing the game? Like monsters in media? I don't think I'm more careful. Players, the ghosts in the old road. So does the ancestor just come back then? What's up, Snag? How you doing? Voice crack, sorry. How you doing? Telling the new heir to go back. Alright, thank you, Thick. Think the new player is the Transcendent heir. But yeah. So with, I don't think the game made me... I think it did make me change how I judge monsters, but kind of like indirectly or something. Like, it made me... Like, what qualifies as a monster has, like, more criteria now, to me. Like, something can be weird and creepy, but not necessarily, like, monstrous. But, like, the stuff in Darkest Dungeon is definitely monstrous, you know? Or in politics or real life and media. I think the ancestor himself kind of exemplifies some people. Like, there are definitely some, obviously, like, no person in real life is sacrificing an unfortunate waif to the ocean for, you know, riches. No one's doing that, but there are definitely some people that have some ancestor qualities, especially in, like, positions of power, for sure. Enemies indeed wonder victims, they become monsters, they're still monsters. Are they victims though? Like the cultists aren't, they chose it. Except for Ghoul. Assume nobody will do that. If they could, they probably would. They could, they probably would. Also, Nick, I saw that you DM me. I don't get notifications, I'm sorry. Like when I have the stream software open, it doesn't notify me. I just happen to click on it. But if you want to, you can @ me in the chat room and I'll see it for sure. Are the bandits victims? Not really. They're just kind of there. Like the victims, I guess you could say like the Warren's creatures, the Ruins enemies are kind of victims. Like they didn't choose to be that, they just are. You know, they were made through experimentation. This message me in chat, that's fine, that works. I don't know if the devs actively tried to create parallels between the ancestor and people IRL. I don't think they did. Red Hook definitely seems kind of detached from that. They don't want to like do social commentary, but it just, I mean, it's media that you could draw parallels if you're looking hard enough, you know? Fish be doing fishing? Yes. Or wave. Some of the enemies are victims? Yeah. Siren definitely. And the crew. Wheeled zombies aren't Ancestor's fault. They're the Hag's fault, right? Ancestor's most horrifying aspect of DD. The level of depravity of the man was beyond your comprehension. He seems like a victim early on. Then you realize the situation in the hamlet is entirely his fault. He has no remorse whatsoever? Yes. Definitely. E2 is filled with social commentary. Is it? I haven't noticed enough. Yeah, in short, it has changed how I judge monsters and stuff. A little bit, not too much. Like when I think of the term monster, like I don't think of people as like assholes or something, but when I think of the term specifically monster, that's like a media thing. That's like games, that's comics, movies, stuff like that. I don't usually apply that to real life people. Darkest Dungeon enables the audience to partake in specialized pleasures endemic to horror media. In particular, it plays off an idea that H.P. Lovecraft coined, cosmic nihilism. Effectively, this means the universe is not only inhuman, but different. It lacks a human order or a benign creator, and thus is totally meaningless to us. Yes. From a Gothic standpoint, this idea is very similar to Rudolf Otto's Mysterium Tremendum. I don't know what this is, but I'm going to assume it's some kind of either work of fiction or maybe not fiction, maybe just literature. But Otto argued, I guess if they're arguing something, it probably sounds like literature or whatever, or academic writing. Otto argued that ghost stories involve a human desire to proceed towards rapture through increasingly vivid imitations of a powerful, unknowable presence, the wrath of God. The closer you get to the numen, or presence of God, the more stupefied you become. To this, Lovecraft wrote Cthulhu as being preceded by a series of cryptic symbols from older cultures that, when assembled, inexorably point toward the ultimate creature. Once viewed, the spectator will invariably experience sanity damage, being struck blind, or even dead by what they see. So, Lot's wife, Medusa, okay, yeah, I see. However, the paper trail and will variably compel future explorers to their doom, in this case, the audience. That you feel compelled to learn the truth in DD1 by similar means, and did the trauma of doing so make you want to continue down the same damned road for DD2? So I think there is a point in DD1 where, because I forget who said it a little bit, but like this, someone just said it like a couple minutes ago, but like you start out thinking the ancestor's the victim, then you find out he's like the enemy kind of thing. And like once you start piecing that together, like you want to know more. Like when you fight a boss and you get the dialogue of how he created that boss, you're like, what the hell is happening? And some of them kind of lead into, like, you don't know what happens. Like when he talks about Siren and stuff like that, he talks about like how she follows him around town. He's like, oh, it was, you know, charming then, but then troublesome later. And it kind of like ends there, and you're like, okay, so what happened with that? And then like as you get further into each boss's story, he's you find out it's like he just like straight up murders them or something. And when you start finding that out, like you really want to know what the end of, at this point is. You're kind of like, you know, you're finding all this out about bosses and like the DLC and stuff, and then it's like, what is the end game then? Like how did this happen? Because you know he opened the door and all this started, but it's like maybe there's some deeper meaning at some point. You know, the end, it's nothing good. How's the interview? We're still doing it. Being people in fictional terms being an issue. Not just the enemy, the worst person, the absolute worst, yes. It appeals to you because it's fun, that's fine. Yeah, like the more I learned about it, yeah, I wanted to keep going for sure. I'm not gonna spoil, but like once you start beating the game, you start tackling the final levels, and it kind of twists on you even more. It the first time it's actually kind of unsettling. Got pulled in through morbid fascination. Yeah, you just kind of want to see how deep the rabbit hole goes. Cash Talk DD's inability to do a character-player relationship enough. It's getting late. Have a good stream. Oh my god. Bye, Pepper. Yeah. So, did this make you want to continue down the same road for DD2? Yes. But it's more because I played so much DD1, I want to see how the games connect at this point. Another idea similar to cosmic nihilism or the Mysterium Tremendum is the sublime. The sublime is the feeling of awesome power generally felt in the presence of something objectively great that terrifies the witness, often Mother Nature. In relation to the sublime, 1700s British thinker Edmund Burke, I feel like I've heard this name, categorized terror, maybe I haven't heard this name, maybe it's just a familiar sounding name, I don't know, as the fear of pain. His female contemporary, the 1790s Gothic novelist Anne Radcliffe, described terror as a sense of life that is fostered by an overstimulated imagination. I can definitely see that. I can kind of see both of these. Can both of these exist at the same time? Like, can terror be fear of pain because it is? Like, fear of pain, fear of death? And then can also be like a sense of life because, like, you don't want to lose it or something? I don't know. Terror and horror is so far opposite that the first expands the soul and awakens the faculties to a high degree of life. The other contracts, freezes, and nearly annihilates them. Or contracts, not contracts, yeah. And where lies the great difference between horror and terror, but in the uncertainty and obscurity that accompany the first, respecting the dreaded evil. Each person was trying to argue it. Like, I can see that they want to argue their own definition, but like, I don't know if they can exist at the same time, because I feel like they both could be right. You can find DD1 all that scary. It's just unsettling, you know? it's very atmospheric and unsettling. At least it was for me. Horror doesn't have to be scary, just blunt hopelessness. Yeah, that too. By hiding the dreaded evil, but still suggesting it, Radcliffe's characters, and by extension her readers, were free to imagine something otherworldly and great, even if the monster was actually fake, an idea popularized by Scooby-Doo. Scooby-Doo coming in on the Lovecraft discussion. Gothic horror. In other words, Radcliffe would cultivate feelings of terror through atmosphere, which I greatly appreciate. I like atmospheric horror more than just like in-your-face type of horror. Reliably present within her novels' infamous settings, often a castle, this atmosphere was gingerly cultivated to deliver a pleasurable response. Jane Austen's Catherine Morland, is that a book? It's not italicized, so I don't know if this is like the full name or whatever, but Catherine Morland specifically called this response deliciously dreadful. For you, does Radcliffe's delicious use of terrifying atmosphere describe Darkest Dungeon and the way the levels are presented to the player? The darkness, the spooky sounds, the monsters hiding behind the trees inside the mist. Let me double back on this. I feel like I absorbed a lot of info at the same time right there. Let's see. Does it fill the delicious type of terrifying? I don't know if it's... I don't know if it fits the... If I'm looking here, I don't know if it fits this too much. I don't think it's an overstimulated imagination. I feel like the terror in this game is very real. But... Like they're physical monsters that you're not exaggerating, you know? But, want some Scooby snacks? Like the stuff like swine sounds in the background, low torch and the music, or the low torch music in the warns? Was this we're reading? We're reading an interview. But I don't know if I quite understand this question. Use of terrifying atmosphere. Like, it is terrifying atmosphere. Like, if we're just, I don't know, I think I'm getting hung up on this word. But if we're looking at this, the use of terrifying atmosphere, does it describe Darkest Dungeon? Yes, it does. 100%. D doesn't need atmosphere to scare you. All it needs is giant orange numbers. Terror equals hiding the monster, basically. In a way, it feels pleasurable or fun. They do kind of hide the monster. It's fun. I don't know if it's quite pleasurable unless you're like considering fun and pleasure kind of the same thing. But yeah, in terms of like atmosphere, the game does have like some top tier atmosphere. Dumb Noxide. Monsters that hide are in the Crimson Court, like the bear and the croc. Yeah, like the bosses are the ones that are hidden from you, and like the rare ones and stuff. Say Darkest Dungeon's primary method of emotionally engaging the audience is probably through stress, creating a scenario in which the player is forced to make high stakes choices. That's actually good assessment. Ruin is the least unsettling place, but it gets progressively worse. The atmosphere is top notch. Let's say the game is horror focused. Got horror elements. What are you talking about? It's not horror focused. It has a horror debuff thick. I'm kidding. Oh, dude, Shambler's frightening. Like, think back to your first Shambler fight. Like, if you haven't been spoiled on it and you're like, oh, I throw a torch in this altar, and then this freaking monster, like the background changes. This thing comes out of the darkness and just beats the hell out of you. That thing is frightening. Sound design's top tier. Yes, the breeding specifically. Kidding. No, the sound design in this game is top notch for sure. I think Ruins is the perfect entry area. It is really good. Matthew Monk Lewis enjoyed a form of Gothic storytelling that sought to horrify the audience, to shock or disgust them, with naked displays of the taboo, gore, sex, and the occult. Black magic is commonplace, often used to reanimate the dead or make deals with the devil. Many of the monsters in Darkest Dungeon are incredibly disgusting, but also alien. Some are literally corpses, others are primitive savages that worship cruel, indifferent deities. Often these subhuman brutes offer up sacrifices to appease their gods. The stories that feature them channeling a form of xenophobia, specifically afraid of the ancient past, as filled with such unscrupulous and superstitious mongrels. How'd you enjoy the horrifying content in Darkest Dungeon compared to its terrifying elements? What is the difference between these? I know we talked about this. I'm gonna have to scroll back up to see the difference between horrifying and terrifying. Did I favor one over the other? I probably favor the horror over the terror. I don't know. I like being creeped out, not terrified. Or showing the monster. Gore, disgust, and shock value. I kind of like the horror then. Like, I know we're talking about DD1, but like when I first saw Harvest Child in DD2, I was like, what the hell is this? Found the flesh a bit creepy. Wield enemy sound effects, trigger your fight or flight response. You talking about Tree Branch Smackdown? Hag apparently was a baddie before. You started eating people and mushrooms. First time you fought the flesh, you were extremely disgusted. They did such a good job on the flesh. Definitely one of the best bosses. Describe it as dread more than terror. Madman's pretty scary enemy to encounter at high stress. Madman's interesting because he's like one of the few just pure human enemies you fight and you kill him. Madman's an enemy that just screams at you and you kill him for it. Like, he's just in the wrong place at the wrong time. Madman's just a guy. He is. Ancestor has poor taste in women. Warrens in general is horrifying. Torchless Warrens is pretty scary. Not just like for getting your butt kicked, but like the yeah. But like the sounds, like when you get rid of the light and you start hearing the pig squealing, it's freaky. There's the way I talk about it too is if you listen to Torchless Warrens, like the ambience, there is one pig squeal in like the 8 or whatever of them that kind of like loop around. It goes like wah, wah, wah. It sounds like it's talking. It sounds like it's trying to talk to the other ones instead of just scream, and that thing legitimately like creeped me out the first time. Actually, the first few times I realized that I was like, what the hell is this, dude? Ancestor didn't kill a madman. We did. Yeah. Very few things made your own stress level spike running into Skyvers when you forgot to prepare for them properly. Since you saw a flesh's butt, you thought, is that an asshole? Got ambush in the Warrens before you knew ambushes were a thing? Legit turn the volume down? The bird. While incredibly popular, Gothic stories are easily parodied and historically have been since their inception. One of your favorite aspects about Darkest Dungeon culture are the memes, something equally serious and silly. Camp, in other words. Personally, I feel these memes invoke a sense of community surrounding Darkest Dungeon itself. Have they enhanced the gaming experience for you in a similar sense? 100%. The memes are funny. Like, not only are they just like well made and stuff, especially like Omni and Don't Panic and stuff like that, they're really good. But then, like, you talk to other people about them, and then other people have seen them, and then they just become memes. Like, I can say Pain Train, and a lot of people know what I'm talking about. Check the internet lately? What are you talking about? Memes. Just realized, why aren't I using dark mode Word? I can? This isn't Word, this is Google Docs. I didn't want to use Word because Word flashes my name. So I stopped doing that. Yeah. Dild, see? The Wall, that's another one. Like even my community has memes, like how I don't use Houndmaster Guard and stuff like that. Or like when I got triple crit by Apex Predator, you know, people come in and talk about that. And still use dark mode. I'll do it some other time. Not doing that right now. But the memes are nice. It builds a sense of community. No dog treats, yeah. Like there's some meme experiences that everyone has, like forgetting to use dog treats, not bringing shovels, Buffoonist Flummox. They're like the quotes from Darkest Dungeon in general. Live shuffle reaction. Dark mode's better. I know dark mode's better. I use it on everything. I just don't use Google Docs that often, so I didn't know I could do it. Community is not a community until memes come out. True. As long as Shambler doesn't show up. Yeah, the other Shambler video is pretty good too. Because he showed up like right when I said it. You're begging me to change it? No. Zero crit bleed, yeah. Dog treats first thing to throw away when you know a boss fight is coming up, but you need the money. I think everyone can relate to the Shambler memes, yeah. And now, like in DD2, we're getting stuff like Breacher PD, you know? Or, I needed that, you took my kill, stuff like that. Hydrate. Pitch black in your room, this bright ass screen is blinding. How can I do it without clicking on my profile up here? Is it view? File, edit, tools, preferences. I'm not gonna open this. I'm afraid I'm gonna dox myself. Literally had Breacher PD. Yesterday, next run, you got Breacher Leopard. Nice. Don't know how to use dark mode in Google Docs. You're a dinosaur. It's okay, so am I. Alright, Snag, thanks for being here. Expedition's doomed. But yeah. So, they've definitely enhanced the gaming experience, for sure. I think it's made the community better as a whole, too. The game is constantly being reinvented through mod content. Oh, Pepper left too early. This has really expanded its lifespan as DD1 continues to be modded with bigger and better mods. Vermintide, Black Reliquary, true. I'm glad you did your homework because these are like two of the big ones right now. BR just being a complete overhaul, and then what's the other one that Anemone's doing with some other people? Red Mountain. That one's gonna be cool, it looks like. So mods really kept this game going, kind of like Skyrim in a way, where like people get bored of base Skyrim, so they just mod the hell out of it. Do I have any favorite mods? Are there any that feel wholly cosmetic? Anime skins? And is this necessarily a bad thing? The DD Waifu Renaissance? The anime skins are pretty funny. I don't like using them on the heroes. I kind of like them in town because they just surprise people. Some of my favorite mods, I like BR, I like Vermintide, obviously. I like, my favorite mod class is Dark Wraith, just because I think Firebomb's hilarious and the sound effect is so loud for no reason. But, Sunward Isles, I like. Very cool zone. I know Marvin Seo's the easiest one to ping, but he's got some really cool stuff. I think the Banshee's like the single best piece of mod content that's been made, because it does such a great job of telling a story through like a boss battle with no dialogue. It's so well done. Shouts to speed mods. Oh, the quality of life mods are fantastic. Is there no mention of Comrade's A-Bomb rework? I haven't played yet. Like the mod that makes the Houndmaster Corgi with costumes? Yeah. Speed mod or bust? Yeah, a lot of the skins are just fun. Like Geralt as Bounty Hunter. Or, like Leper as Giant Dad from Dark Souls. That kind of stuff is cool. I think your Skyrim load order is like 90% QOL mods. Nice. Download it? I'll do it at some point. Beesmas? Yeah. Like the mod that... Okay, I read that one. This sound like heresy, but Runaway feels like a mod character. I wouldn't be surprised if Marvin designed her. Honestly, like top to bottom, probably made her. Like Chris probably came up with like the narrative reason, like, okay, let's get a Runaway, let's get a furtive, you know, woman that's really good at scavenging, and she'll be the new character, and then Marvin put everything else together. I would not be surprised if that's how it went. Party wonders if Banshee inspired things like Harvest Child, given that Marvin works at Red Hook now. Depends who did most of the narrative work on it, because Claire worked on it too. And apparently Element 5, I didn't notice, or I didn't know this, but I think he worked on it too. So that was cool. So I don't know who had a hand at what, because I don't know if Claire does art. Does Claire just do like the brick and mortar stuff, like the balancing, and Marvin did the art? Well, at some point Shuff is lying to you. No, I'm gonna start doing like mod reviews. Claire just codes? Okay, there you go. That's why I played DD on console. But yeah. What was the question? I was getting lost here. Oh, my favorite mods, yeah, so I like the overhaul mods. I like mods that really change the game and just break away from what it does normally, because I played a lot of just vanilla DD. So I really want the experience shaken up. And I like quality of life mods a lot. I don't like a lot of mod heroes or mod bosses because I don't feel like a lot of people can balance them properly. Which I'm not trying to like insult the modding community, because like you want your thing to stand out, so it has to be like a little bit cooler, and you know, harder enemies leave better impressions, stronger heroes make you feel powerful and stuff. But I think like the majority of like mod heroes and mod enemies kind of miss the balance, which it's not really their fault. Like Red Hook has covered so much in terms of base content that they don't leave you a lot of room in terms of mod elements to stand out. So I get it. They're still fun. They're still fun, but that's why I don't like them too much. Roll. One of the best mods is Caco Demon Abbott. Is that a thing? Still have to finish the hero guides before I can review mod heroes. Dude, I need to start doing the occultist guide. Just haven't. Switch to Chrome dark mode. Nerd. Alright. I save 1 million citrines and threaten BC. Please don't. Lovecraft was generally allergic to women's sex and queer culture. Conversely, DD1 offered a female empowerment through the Countess, Monster Mom, the wife, or the Shieldbreaker, an escaped concubine turned warrior, and the Grave Robber, a wife liberated by murdering her abusive husband and dressing as a man. Do you think DD1 struck a good balance, avoiding the pitfall of sexualizing female characters while still commenting on the kinds of role jokes or roles that women historically have had to play in society? Yes. Darkest Dungeon makes all of the heroes seem like badasses. Even Vestal, being like the resident heal bot, like has a move where she decks someone in the face with a weapon. Like every character feels like a badass, and I like that a lot, except Musketeer. Musketeer is a spoiled rich girl who got second place, let's not forget. But everyone else, very cool. Very, very cool. I mean, Battle Vestal, yes. But yeah, like Vestal even has one of the best recruitment lines: a sister of battle, pious and unrelenting. Like, damn. I like that all the monster enemies are male except the monstrous bosses. That's true. There's some we can't really tell what they are. Like, I don't know if we can gender the wheeled enemies, like the fungal people. They're just mushrooms mostly. Cultist Witch is a woman. The bandits are men. Fish people don't really look gendered. Warren's enemies, the Ruins enemies are just bones. I don't know. Musketeer slander, I'm sorry. Girl boss antiquarian. This rock and the boob plate armor. Body community completely missed the mark on not over-sexualizing. Yeah, it's pretty annoying. Don't take anything the ancestor says seriously. Vessel's a hypocrite, but she's trying to cling to God. Virago's a female, true. So are the Crones, true. Fish people are gendered. Oracles are female. Groupers are male. Okay, there you go. Groupers literally have a penis. I don't want to know that. Some of the enemies can be women. Like, it's very clear they are, but not the bosses. There you go. Yeah. I think we were talking about like the regular, just run-of-the-mill enemies. Nice to see women as enemies. Oh yeah, dude. And they make them some of the biggest assholes. Like Cultist Witch is one of the biggest assholes in the game. It's disproportionate. I mean, that's fair. I don't know what they're supposed to do at that point. But yeah, gender equality, both sides can dish it out and take it, yeah. Like, I'd say, you know, even two of the best characters in the game are both women. Courtesans, there you go, that's another one. Like, Plague Doctor and Hellion are two of the strongest characters. Badass women. I think Plague Doctor really does a good job of bucking the idea, because back in like the time Plague Doctor would have came from, I don't think women scientists were that prominent, and she's like a genius, so that's cool. Had no idea PD was a female in until the comic. Yeah, everyone gets PD wrong at first. Appreciate the Hellion's backstory, as they're scared of fighting and she's redeeming for that. Yeah. Yeah, I got PD wrong too. Like, everyone gets PD wrong the first time. Means Paracelsus, which is a man's name. It is, but yeah, they made her a woman. To this, does the Grave Robber in DD2 feel more sexualized than she did in the first game? Yes. It was actually a problem I had. It's not like to the point where it's like bad and I hate it. It's like a 1% complaint of mine. Like, the heels on her boots are bigger for some reason. Like, they just can't give her regular boots, which I didn't like. And she has like one of the weakest battle stances, just her like standing there holding a knife upwards. You know, I really don't like those two things. But they also, she's still cool. Like, she's still a very cool character, don't get me wrong. She's still a badass, but those are the two things I don't like. Both Grave Robber and PD would describe themselves as men. There are instances of women doing that just to join the military, yes. Not gonna mention the upgraded thighs. I was trying not to. But they definitely did that. Yeah, they upped it on Grave Robber specifically and like no one else. They did fix something. They in the first game, like, Hellion has some really weak looking arms for as strong as she is, and they actually made her a lot buffer in DD2, which I liked. So, Antiquarian killing people with smoke machine. What would I change to improve her? Well, in terms of design, I'd take the heels off her boots. And then change her battle stance. I'd fix a lot of it. Like, if she stood differently, you probably wouldn't even notice the thigh upgrade. What are my thoughts on sexualized content in DD2 so far? The ladies, the only aspects of sexualized, albeit abject nudity that you've encountered in game. Sexualization get in the way of the story, or do certain stories work better with a bit of sex in them, even Lovecraftian ones? I'm not a big fan of sexual content in media. Like the older I get, the more I don't like it. And I'm talking like, this goes deep. Like, when I watch movies and there's a sex scene, I just want to turn it off at this point, because I don't want to watch that shit. So I don't think Lady is too sexualized as an enemy. I mean, she's like a noble. She's a distinguished noble to go with Lord, who's a distinguished gentleman. Sex makes it a bit awkward, yeah. No one gets sent to the brothel on your DD file. She has boobs, does she? I never noticed. I never looked for it. It's a bit strange. But yeah, I'm not a fan. So, are they gonna add more? I don't know. Does it get in the way of telling the story? Sometimes. Sometimes it can. But Red Hook's pretty good about not making things invasive. So I don't think it specifically gets in the way of the game. But in other media, it definitely can. The Countess from DD1 played the vampire narratives by taking an outwardly attractive female vampire and making her true form hideous, an insectoid that spawns legions of mosquito children. Metaphor for the upper class of the Gilded Age. I did not know this, but it makes a lot of sense. I love this approach, which I felt remained faithful to the vampiric notion of fatal attraction and forbidden love, while also turning it on its head. Crimson Court is like one of the best things in Darkest Dungeon, 100%. What I think of her compared to the vampires from other stories and video games, I really like how Red Hook did vampires. Like, they could have just straight up did, you know, vampires or bats or something like that. They made insects. And that was a really smart way to do it. And I think Crimson Court's one of the single best pieces of content to ever come out of this game. So I love how they did it. I thought it was very smart. And I hope we see it again in DD2 in some way. Crimson Court took it to a 10, yeah. It's unique. It might be unique. I think Countess is also fantastic just as a character and a boss. She's by most considerations, the hardest boss in the game. Like, obviously, you can break the fight certain ways, like spamming heavy boots, you know, like people figured that out, but like if you go in there blind, she's one of the hardest fights. Probably the hardest fight in the game. Interviewed by who? Nick Vanderwald. You can type ! mazes, and I'll bring it up too if you want to go look at it. Bloodborne did it first. Castle Canehurst enemies were insectoid. When did Bloodborne come out? Did it come out in 2000? Did it come out before 2017? Might have. It might have. 2015, there you go. Either way, very cool. In terms of DD mods, many popular ones have historically featured sexual content, not just muscarines, profligates, or as Purple's Kraken Society, but TNA popping up more, or in more sprawling and ambitious content like Brackwell Raid. Does this kind of stuff take you out of the experience? Yes, 100%. I don't enjoy it. I've expressed my reservations about this. I try not to like. I try not to let it diminish the content, but it's the one thing I don't like about BR specifically, and it's one thing I don't like about a lot of the mods. Like having. Like there's a difference between like boob armor and high heels and then like some of the over sexualized content that's out there, and I just don't care for it. 2014 seems like ages ago, yeah. Makes sense in Black Reliquary, maybe. But say the Omen Seeker mod, that one's ridiculous. Am I out as a music writer? I am. Where Fetter or Sprawl? Go back here. Yeah, I don't like it. We are inspired partly by Frank Frazetta and Conan the Barbarian, incidentally. I knew the Conan one, because I think that's the one they expressed. I think the same about Siren. The boobs made me uncomfortable at first, but like, there's kind of a flash, you know? And they're not like Omen Seeker level. So. But I mean, that's kind of like Siren lore is enchanting sailors to come jump in the ocean and die. So it makes sense for her. It's also funny to think about how Siren makes everyone, you know, like women. That was actually something I was going to put in my sins video. Like the Siren sin was going to be like a -1. It was going to be like Siren proves that everyone likes boobs. It'd be like -1. Just looked up the Omen Seeker mod. Yeah. But I don't run a lot of mods that can potentially be sexual for that specific purpose. I don't care for it. And also in my line of work, I'm worried about like monetization, so. The Horny Vessel felt like an inside joke in DD1. Constantly memed by Marvin Sino in particular. Did he really? Oh yeah. In D2, relationship allows for poly and queer relationships. Do you think this happened in response to the community's prolific engagement with the Vestal and similar inside jokes? I don't quite think so. It might have. There's one thing that's sticking out to me. I think Thick knows this. Difference between softcore porn and drawing boobs because they're there. Yeah. Siren's reason your headcanon Hellion is a lesbian. It's fair. I remember the Siren loading screen incident. Oh, dude. Yeah. Yeah, when I jumped up to like 250 viewers on DD1, yes. But didn't someone make a thing about like Man-at-Arms and Occultists having a relationship? And Chris Brasso was cool with it, or like he commented or something? Can't remember what happened. I was using a mod that gave different loading screens, and the one they gave for Siren was like a naked Siren top half. Like someone just drew naked Siren, and it popped up on screen. I had to like take the video down. And some of the Amorous dialogue, think the multiple instances of it with one character may have originally been a bug. I don't know. That was Chris in a test run. There you go. I don't mind it. I don't mind people being amorous. Like I don't care if Leper bangs Man-at-Arms. You know, more power to him. But I have no problem with it, you know. We're all for the love who you want to love here. But do I think it happened because of community's response to inside jokes? I think that's a bit of social commentary. Now that I think about it, it's probably like Red Hook saying, you know, it's like 20xx. You know, who cares? At this point, just let people love. So I get that. But I don't know if it's directly in response to the inside jokes. But they did have a joke with Vestal. One of the taverns is called the Vestal Secret, and it's like Junia like doing this or something. Something about how his occultist and man-at-arms fell in love. There you go. Once you hear Siren's voice, her looks are inconsequential. Man-at-arms like 50 and Runaway's a teen, so that's creepy. I don't know. Discord, not my Discord. DD Cord had a conversation about that, and that was kind of weird. I really don't want to get into that or hear it, honestly. Dealing with Eldritch Horrors, they shouldn't need to worry about being gay. True. Is that proxy? Runaway's an adult. Let's leave it at that. Horny Vessel isn't as much or so much of an inside joke as her actual backstory. True. Well, that's where people took it now. DD1 alluded heavily to the Color Out of Space with the Color of Madness DLC in... Okay, yeah. In DD2, Plague Doctor feels like Velma Dinky meets Herbert West from Reanimator. I don't know Herbert West. Do I have any favorite Lovecraft allusions in either game? I do not know enough about Lovecraft to actually answer that. But something Darkest Dungeons made me want to do is listen to the audiobooks for Lovecraft, so I'm going to start doing that. I just gotta find time. Usually, like whenever I have free time to watch or listen to stuff, I watch anime or something. He feels like Velma to them. I don't know. Not to me. I was just reading the thing. "50-year-old men marry preteens all the time." I said stop talking about that. Let's stop. I don't want to hear it. I don't want to read it. Get that shit out of my chat. You to watch Reanimator? Yes. Sorry you're late. No worries, dude. How you been? Anyway. In DD1, each area has a... Okay, yeah, this year, I don't know. I don't know enough about Lovecraft to answer this, so. DD1, each area has a specific flavor. However, certain areas weren't explored by Red Hook themselves. Snowy levels, but also desert with a pyramid. I feel like DD2's biomes will allow a lot more variety in terms of the weathered and the monsters inside. Yeah, the weather and the monsters inside. Is there any kind of monster content or biome you'd like to see in DD2 that is yet to appear in the franchise through the devs? I know people... We got a snowy thing. Alright, Mac, thanks for being here. We got a snowy thing for the mountains, so that was cool. And let's see. Let's see, we have a forest. We've already had a water region, we've had a sewer, we've had like urban areas. Like, I guess we'll get a desert. Had a courtyard, like an estate type of thing. Mountain felt so short. Yeah, how about a cave? Cave would be cool. Egyptian themed enemies, I'm sure. But I don't know what other regions we can get without going like super Mountains should be a full dungeon, that'd be cool. Like, just make it the one dungeon of the game. But I don't know how many biomes they can add before it gets like unrealistic. You can't add a volcano, like a volcanic region, right? Because that's going like, you're already going to the mountains, so you can't do that. You have to like add things that would make sense compared to the location they're in. And I don't know what else they can add that they already haven't touched on. Like, you can say like an arid, sandy potential area, sure. But what's this document? It's a interview someone sent me. Prediction on the remaining classes. I'm gonna say Bounty Hunter, a Backline Hero, Crusader are the 3 that are coming out before the game launches fully. I thought you guys was an abandoned town, not like the sprawl that's under siege. That'd be cool. Cave would be interesting. I don't think they've really done a cave, like a dedicated cave. I guess the sluice, a flagellant, and he'd be cool. But I guess they could do a beach. Like the cove is a cave system, like near the water. So I guess they could do a beach or like a shoreline. Can't do open plains. That would just be weird. But they've also shown they're smart enough to like create their own biomes. Like the Fetter is just like plague lands, you know. The cultists in DD2 look way different. For example, you love the vampire squid themed evangelists, but am I hoping for more design types than what we have so far? Oh yeah, for sure. I'm looking forward to what they do with the cultist enemies. They're adding more. So I think stereotypical and have an Asian themed region, yeah. Don't just like slap a bamboo forest in there because you can. But yeah, I don't know what they could do for the cultists. I'm sure they'll think of something. Probably some kind of like backline caster that they haven't done, because they have Cardinal, Deacon, Cherubs, and Evangelist. There's some other stuff. Legend's gimmick could be that he can't form relationships with people because he's introverted. Another thing that needs to be kept in mind is that dots, or the dots the enemies give, it'd be odd to have TRAs that give the same dot or the same focus, yeah. You have some overlap. I'm sure like bleeds in every region, but like it's more prominent in the Tangle. 100% Flagellant joining the cultists, probably. That'd be Leper's gimmick. Yeah, I do hope they add more. Don't know what they're gonna add, but they definitely have space to add more, and they need to, and they're going to. So, current monster designs from DD1 to 2. Are there any that feel especially memorable? I love Harvest Child. Harvest Child's very creepy. I think they did a good job with that. I like the new ghoul because it reminds me of Attack on Titan. Antiquarian's tall as hell for some reason. Other enemies that are cool. Drummer is an amazing enemy. Shambler looks way better in this game. But I think Drummer's my favorite new enemy. Looks very cool, he's very fun. Drummer is probably the most memorable. Harvest Child too. And the big knight, the Tangle Knight, the size 2 one, he's cool. I'd say Shambler, Drummer, Harvest Child, Knights, Deacon stand out a lot to me. Cardinal kind of feels like Deacon 2.0, so that's why it doesn't stand out as much. But Deacon can also kick your ass, so that's cool. Are there any that seem visually lame? For example, what are your thoughts on the Killer Brain, aka Act 1's final boss? My most viewed clip on this channel is me reacting to the first time I saw the Denial boss, and it's just me laughing. So, Pit Fighter? Oh, Pit Fighter's such a dick. But you're right. Yeah, Pit Fighter's cool. Yeah. But some of them that are lame, I think the Denial boss is interesting, but Dreaming General's kind of lame. The Bandits just really feel rehashed. Elite Arbalist design, yeah. There are 2 sprawl enemies. There's Flare and the full team Cleave dude. They look so similar. One's just a bit taller and like, you know, skinnier. And they seem kind of lame together. Maid in the Fetter isn't that impressive. Probably like the most forgettable design. In general, it's an amazing concept. It's Brigand Pounder. I don't think so. It's Brigand Pounder with like more damage, more consistent damage. Brain just needs to not look like a regular human brain. Make it more eldritch or something. Yeah, give it tentacles. There you go. General sick to fight. Yeah, the elite arbalist is kind of tough. You just kind of like go, oh, he marked me. That means it's the elite dude. Not Reynolds someday. Good concept, terrible mechanics. The art's cool, but I don't know. Your point maybe it's similarity or similar. I can't even say it. I think the point maybe it's similarity to a regular human brain. We need more story to know. It'll probably make sense the more we get. I mean, the final boss, the denial boss, is probably freeing your own mind to accept the reality of what's happening. Like, that's probably what it's heading towards. Are there any... Okay, so I read this one. Yeah, like, Maid is kind of lame. The Bandits are kind of lame. Like, they still look, you know, good, right? But compared to the other enemies, they're more boring. Is what I'm trying to get at. Elite Arbalest. The standard zombies. Urchin's okay. But the standard zombies are kind of, you know, flat. DD2, while the animations have been much expanded on, the drawing style is more realistically proportioned. Do I prefer the old chibi style or the more realistic? I like the DD2 art style more, the more I play it. DD1, like when I go play DD1 now, it looks goofy compared to 2. I think Gold looks better and worse in 2. Better. Ghoul in 1 still looks cool, but I like the art style of 2 more. And the animations add a lot, because DD1, the animations were just 2 frames. It was like wind up and then follow through, and it like there's no in between. When this one, there's in between. We love the DD2 art style. That's what I'm saying, man. It was already perfect design. Adore the DD1 portraits more than the sprites, except A-Bomb. Ghoul's more ghoulish, yeah. Ghoul's kind of frightening. The metaphor? Oh, the boss, yeah. Brain isn't the boss, we literally save it. Oh, by killing the locks? Yeah, I prefer DD2 more, for sure. Is there anything you'd like to see make a return from the first game, if only to appear in DD2's new visual style? Cove mobs. I like to see the courtyard as a biome. That'd be fun. I think courtyard as a biome would be fun. I'd like to see Abomination in the new art style, because I think his transformation will look really sick. I'd like to see Flagellant come back, Crusader. Characters I don't care too much about are like Houndmaster. I don't care too much about Bounty Hunter. He's cool, but I don't care about him that much. I grew to like Arbalest when I started off not liking her in terms of playstyle. But I'd like if she came back. I'd like to see Arbalest's animation in 2, because I feel like in 1, you could just feel the weight of her shots when she hit something. Like, the arrows look, or the bolts or whatever, looked massive. So I'd like to see what they do with it in 2. Collector, that'd be cool. Desperately need 2 to 3 more viable rank 4 heroes. Don't care who they are. Yeah, definitely. Unfollowed, unsubbed. Alright, see ya. A-Bomb was too original of a mechanical character to leave out, despite him not being a favorite of yours. Want to see Musketeer animation? Everyone starts off not liking Arb, but only the true weak can become Arb enjoyers, true. You want Musketeer to have a bayonet skill if she returns? They need to make her different, for sure. Yeah, I want to see the courtyard come back as a region. I like to see the Bloodsuckers come back. Screw it, just put all of them in. Just do it. Just do it. Make Crocodilian the lair boss, or maybe some other aristocrat that we, you know, didn't fight before, and put Bloodsuckers in. It almost does itself, you know. It's such a self-contained area. The Countess returns. We've already fought the Countess, though. Oh, let Crimson Curse block all diseases. Give me Crimson Curse. Bounty Hunter will come back as the backline hero we need. He'll combine his 2 main tools to create the rope axe. Already killed and came back. You don't know if she died. She, like, that scene ends with her. Oh no, she got her head chopped off. JK, she did die. It'd be cooler to add Musketeer instead of Arbalest to make her a proper character, not just Arbalest reskin. Yeah. Or Farmstead. Farmstead would be an interesting biome for sure. Kind of step on the Fetter's toes, but you have Husks that can come back. Space Coke. There's already Space Coke in the game. Countess Returns, you think it'd be really cool if she's like ruined and wounded. Let's see. Yes, I did this one. Do you think the improved visuals will make it harder for high quality mods to be made, thus shortening DD2's lifespan post-release? I don't think it'll shorten its lifespan, but I think a lot of modders are about to get gatekept. The game and the Unity engine and the hardware requirements already blocked a lot of people. It already blocked out a lot of people. And the modding difficulty requiring like 3D models and stuff is gonna gatekeep more. But I also think that there are a lot of talented people that will pick it up. You know, it's like the Jurassic Park quote, life finds a way. So I think once people figure it out and you get some like really talented 3D modelers out there that you can commission, I think it'll be fine. Plus a lot of DD1 modding is, I don't want to say low skill as like a negative, because it's not. But a lot of it is the easy stuff they can do, like just taking sprites and redesigning sprites, taking old move animations and redesigning them a little bit. Like, not that many mods have pure assets that are like their own, you know? D2 is missing, or is mining crypto with those system requirements. Yeah, I had to buy a new computer for that game, dude, or for this game, dude. Sucks. Only the gifted will mod DD2. No, I like more people having access. You know, low skill floor. UV mapping your beloved. You beloathed. Excuse me. New update helped a bit. It did. What about your circus biome with the ringmaster as the lair boss? I'm down. Give it to me. Let's do it. I forgot. But see, that's what I'm saying. Like, Red Hook is actually really good at taking things that don't feel like they fit in the universe and putting it in the universe. Like Butcher Circus. Like, yeah, here's a circus. How does a circus work in Darkest Dungeon? Oh, well, it's a circus where you kill each other and, you know, it's ran by a depraved lady and some servants. Butcher Circus biome? Yeah. What about a Hamlet biome with the ancestors of Lair Boss? I played that game. I do not think it'll shorten the lifespan. I think it'll take a bit longer for it to take off this time. I feel like Red Hook's kind of dragging their feet. They feel more resistant to modding this time around. I don't know if that's what the reason is for that. I'm not going to speculate. But it feels like they're more resistant to doing it this time. So, whenever it gets figured out and it becomes accessible, it'll take off. Gladiator Arena? Old man goes for a walk, ruins everything. That's the DD2 or the DD1 storyline. DD2, you hoping the academic becomes more and more dickish as the game progresses. I'm expecting it. I'm really expecting the academic to kind of turn on us at some point, kind of like the ancestor. But in a way, that'd be doing the same game twice. So I don't want them to do it. But at the same time, I really miss the ancestor sass. You know, like when Ancestor basically says skill issue, but it takes him like 8 words to say it. When you do something that's like beyond your control, like stepping on a trap that you didn't scout. That kind of stuff. But I'm really hoping they flesh out the Ancestor. I'm excited to. I'm excited to see it. Don't want him to become more dickish. If he does, I'm cool with it. And if not, that's fine too. I don't want the academic to be the cause of it though. Not this time. Because like I said, that's literally the same game a second time. Wayne June has such a good voice for evil. Yeah. The poor Miller. Academic isn't as cool as the Ancestor. He sounded way cooler. Yeah, the Ancestor is a more fleshed out character too. Red Hook needs to shake, or yeah. Shake it up, make size 2 heroes, limiting you to a 3-man team. They might do it this time. Who knows? Watch your step. Man, that's such missteps are the exception, not the rules. Yeah, that kind of crap, dude. Rice the victim. The seasons took his land. Yeah. How'd you like the ending from the first game? Recursive hereditary nightmare. And would you like a similar allusions being made towards a similar ending? Such as the collector secret rooms in DD2? I don't want the ending to be the same. I really think the ending is going to be definitive this time. Like, we win. Oops. Like, we win or we die trying kind of thing, and like, we actually stop evil. That's what I'm pretty sure it's going to be this time. Because they really want... The message of the second game is hope. Just straight, like, in no uncertain terms. So, they're probably going to do that. And, I hope there's... I really don't want it to be a time loop or alternate universe thing, but it might be. Define win. You go kill like cosmic entity and then evil stops. Heads of the secret room are confirmed to not be the hero's head, you thought? No, I think it's time loop shit. Wish the academic would just say nice and not elaborate after a sweet ass crit. World to save, Pog, yeah. In the academic backstory, I think he's good right now, probably. Personal relationship with us, the corpse owner. Science jargon is simply not as good as Lovecraftian prose. All problems have their solutions versus monstrous size. Yeah. The wagon owner. Full pack attracts unwanted attention, always made you nervous about the collector. And it kind of feels like it spawns him. I don't know if there's any truth to that, but it always feels like it did. Sort of giving him a story like when you go to the inns and stuff. Yeah, they're giving it to you differently, which is fine. I like the ending of the first game in terms of you kind of confirming the ancestor really did screw up everything. And he's the reason you're in this shit. I didn't like that it's a time loop. And I'm kind of indifferent to it just being like nihilistic, but that's, you know, that's on brand with the Lovecraft stuff. So I'm indifferent to that. I like a similar allusions being made towards the ending of the second one. I wouldn't. I'd like the second game to be different. They really need to differentiate it. Reddick has explained how the characters in D2 are basically superheroes. I think this idea conflicts with Lovecraft's bleak worldview, but also Gothic narratives in general. Gothic heroes are Promethean or self-destructive. They tend to stress disempowerment or the undoing of individuation that prescriptively occurs through the hero's journey, the monomyth. Conversely, traditional superheroes offer hope through their incredible strength and superhuman abilities and guide people towards perspective selfhood. In this sense, DD2 is explicitly fixated on hope as a currency that superheroes supply to an apocalyptic world. Am I afraid that Red Hook will make the series too hopeful, thus less scary? It doesn't make me afraid they're going to do that, but it definitely seems like they're going to. They want the enemies to get more verbose names like in the first game. Currently it's just Knight. Yeah. Knight, Foot Soldier. You know, not as cool as Swine Chopper. Immolatus is cool, but then there's like Shaman, Flayer, whatever. But I mean, the game is just supposed to be more hopeful or whatever, so the heroes do feel heroic this time. And that's kind of different. Some people like that, some people don't. I don't know where I fall on it yet. Slavering Ghoul, but the heroes in DD1 felt like they were just broken people that could be heroic sometimes. And in DD2, they feel heroic. They just feel like heroes, which is fine. I mean, they're referred to as heroes. Why do I think they took that direction? They want the game to be different. They want 2 to not be 1, like 1.5. So the first game was about stress and that adventuring sucks. Like, those are the pillars of the narrative. And DD2, the pillar of the narrative is hope and heroism. And camaraderie. Those are like the 3 pillars of it. Those things can still go wrong, but it's just they want to do it differently. That is what I have gleaned from the interviews and from playing the games. Class are doing this not out of glory anymore. No. D2 is literally friendship is magic. Teen sections feel incredibly dull compared to sending someone to the brothel. They look pretty haggard. Like, they don't seem heroic when they get to the end. They look like destitute and depressed sometimes. Did LOTR questing the Mountain of Doom? Yeah. Beautiful thing, broken people persevering and attempting to do good. They all fail, by the way. Fourth pillar is the wagon. True. I turn my lights on after this. Let me get some water when we get to this part here. We're almost done, but I need a break. I need to stand up. In this sense, D2 is explicitly fixated on hope. Okay, as a currency. That's weird that hope is a currency. But they don't want to call it experience points, so I get that. But I don't know if I call it that. But whatever. Like, I think they could have used a different word than hope. In terms of scariness, is there any moment from DD1 to 2 that actually scared you, or at the very least ruined your evening? I've had the game tilt me and that ruins my evening, but it's not, in terms of scariness, it never ruined my evening. But when I first beat DD1 and I was in the final levels, I was nervous. Like, I recorded those videos, but I was nervous in each one of those. Like, I was really scared of failure at that point. And I was scared of what the bosses would be. So I didn't know what they'd be. I hadn't seen them. So that was interesting. DD2 doesn't... It's like the most unsettling moment has been Harvest Child. Your opinion, DD lore is always hopeful? Templars? And to sacrifice hero is generally scary? I was like, Monka Shake, yes. The light's hurting your eyes? I'm sorry, buddy. Buy on one Shambler Road fight, true fear. But it's like fear out of frustration. You're like, oh, I'm gonna lose right here, dude. Gargantuan Shambler, should have played better. I first did my blind playthrough, and I did come into your maker. I didn't press another button for almost 15 minutes. Yeah. I remember staying on it for like a couple minutes. I'm like, what am I doing? What am I supposed to do? Why can I pick my characters? And I think I picked the wrong person. Like, oh, they're just dead. That was frightening. Reddit can go the easy way of making everybody twisted by the universe, including the hero. Just remember, you killed that person. Yeah, you pick them. We have Leper, then Highwayman who truly wants to repent. Cherub's sound design's pretty scary. It's weird. I'll give you that one. Cherubs are a little creepy. Twisted baby sounds or whatever. Do you think the hero fatality animations would be cool and freaky way to scare players who fail DBR? Maybe their faces melting off, Raise the Lost Ark style? That'd be interesting. I didn't think about that. People have been asking for more reactions to, you know, everyone likes reactions, right? So they wanted... People want the heroes to react more to teammate deaths than they already do, because they don't really react right now. They're just kind of like, oh, you died. Ah, one stress. So I think it'd be interesting if they did something like that. My goodness, I'm thinking like if the hero characters die and there's actually animation besides just like the death blow symbol and they're gone. I'm thinking about someone that plays the game for the first time and someone dies, like, oh god, they're bleeding to death. No, come back. Survive Paracelsus, please. It's like, ah. That'd be interesting. But they definitely should have more animations for death and stuff like that. Be really cool, but a lot of work. Yeah, definitely. But I feel like most of the... So Red Hook made the first game with like 5 people. And the team is like 20 or so now, and I feel like they have a lot of artists, so I think they could do it if they wanted to. About 23 questions for the game design section that I wanted to divide the interview into 2 parts. Yeah, I'll probably cut it in 2 parts here. I mean, I'll do that on my end. It's easy enough. So I'm gonna get some water and turn on the lights. I'll be right back, guys. Wait, is that the last one for here? Yeah, it is. Okay. So I'll scroll down, y'all can get some previews here. But thanks for hanging out. It was a good interview. I think so too. Very fun. So I'll be right back. Should I leave it on the be right back screen? I think so. Just so, I don't know. Oops. I'm gonna start doing a thing where like I play my videos or other DD videos while I'm gone just to keep viewers. It's a smart thing to do, but I don't have anything set up right now. Questions seem fun. Do you want to answer them, Thick? Thick's another content creator. Got some different opinions than I do. Yeah, I'll be right back. You gonna get the Comrade command? Well, Comrade's been to like literally every stream and is a very cool person and has been very supportive, so after like weeks of bullying me, they got a command. Is there a console date for DD2 yet? No, but they will put it on console. They've said they want it to. Love to see me answer the favorite boss question. You know what my favorite boss is. As far as you aren't cool according to Shuff. Hey, y'all are fantastic. Anyone that hangs out is cool. You need a pav command, we get a pav command maybe. I don't know what it would be.